Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fort Henry. I am your host, Lt-Col Bennett. What is going to be happening today, my friends? What are your orders? It's very simple. We're all going back in time to the year 1867, when Fort Henry is garrisoned by brave British soldiers. You are now the soldiers. For reasons that will become clear, you have decided to volunteer to join the British Army. You have joined your beloved regiment. You have kissed Mommy and Daddy goodbye. The regiment is now your family. You have been sent across the ocean. Your posting is now in Kingston, and you will be garrisoned for the next 2 years of your life at Fort Henry. I am your commanding officer. My job today is to show you what your life will now be like. You will obey my orders without hesitation. You may ask me a question, and I will answer you. To keep things simple, you may simply refer to me as Sir. If you understand, say yes, sir. I don't hear anything. Say it again, louder. Yes, sir. Very well. We're outside the main gate of our new home. Let us head inside and find out what awaits you in your new life. This way, recruits. Officers always go first. Get inside, hurry up. Head into the advanced battery, keep walking. I must secure the fortification. One straight line, don't huddle around. Maintain proper distancing. This way, follow me. Here we are. Magnificent Fort Henry. If you cast your eyes towards the body of water, I will explain why we are here. This, recruits, is where the St. Lawrence River meets Lake Ontario. To the west of us is the end of the Rideau Canal, meeting Lake Ontario and the rest of the Great Lakes. This is a very important area. We must defend it. Why the fort is here. Now, it may surprise you to learn that this is not the original Fort Henry. You may gasp in amazement now. That was a good gasp. This is the second Fort Henry. Follow me. To the bottom of the hill. The late 1800s, the late 1700s, the British decided to build a naval dockyard. Why? It's where the St. Lawrence River met Lake Ontario. I already told you that. They established a naval dockyard to control the Great Lakes. Then, in 1812, something happened. Does anyone know what happened in 1812? The War of 1812, fought between Britain and the country that lies south of us. Who knows what that country is? The United States of America, or as we say, America. They were the enemy. The British soon had a problem. Uh-oh. The Americans are across the lake. We have our naval dockyard. But what if the Americans become sneaky? What if they head east? By Montreal, the St. Lawrence River gets very narrow. It's easy to cross over. naval ships would be unable to stop them. And so it was decided they needed a fort on top of the hill, not to defend against the boats, but to defend against the enemy attacking over land. This hill was known as Point Henry, named after Henry Hamilton, a British official so important they named a hill after him. So when you build a fort on Point Henry, you call it Fort Henry. So the first fort finished construction just in time for the war to end. Hooray! Afterwards, we are now in a Cold War between Britain and the United States. Neither side really trusts each other. The British decided we need another way to bring everyone in from out east. We can't rely on the St. Lawrence River. We need another way to send troops and supplies. So the British decided to construct this huge engineering project known as the Rideau Canal. And so by 1832, the Rideau Canal to the west of the fort joins up with Lake Ontario. For those of you who have seen Kingston, when you go over the causeway, that's the end of the Rideau Canal. And so by 1832, we have the St. Lawrence River meeting Lake Ontario, the Naval Dockyard, the Rideau Canal meeting Lake Ontario, and the very important town of Kingston. And so it was decided to build Fort Henry No. 2, a bigger, more powerful fort, which was started construction and finished in 1836. And so today, we are still in Fort Henry No. 2. Does everyone understand the information so far? Say yes, sir. Louder! Yes, sir! Good. I'm pleased. And so here we are in your new home. The fort is in two parts. We have the upper fort, which is here. It is called, troops, the advanced battery, because we have a battery of cannons in front of the main fort. All of the rooms here are powder magazines to contain gunpowder and cannonballs for the cannons to shoot. You do not live up here. Your life will be spent mainly in the main fort, the lower fort. So, we are now going to head down there now. As we head into the fort, I will lead. I expect my troops to march properly. Don't swing your arms. They stay straight at your side. Maintain proper distancing. I think in the future, physical distancing will be of critical importance to us all. In the meantime, follow me. Let's head down, find out how the fort is expected to defend itself. More importantly, find out what your life is going to be like. This way! Recruits, consider! Quick march! Follow me! Arms at your side! Nice, slow, steady, marching. Everyone march with the same feet, hitting the ground at exactly the same time. Don't look around! Eyes straight ahead. Hurry it up! Don't keep the sir waiting! Squad, you may now relax. You may look around. Here we are at the entrance to the main fort, the redoubt. How is the fort expected to defend itself? I will explain all now. You may notice there is a large ditch that goes all the way around the main body of Fort Henry. This is not a moat. A moat is something you fill with water. You use that for castles where there are princesses. There are no princesses here. There's just soldiers. This is a dry ditch. fort itself is sunk into the ditch. Oh, yes. You don't see the big walls of Fort Henry if you're charging up the hill. It's hidden. There's just enough room for cannons and rifles to shoot down the hill to make the enemy go away. If they get to the top of the hill because you didn't do your job, the ditch awaits. They're going to fall into the ditch, and that is going to hurt. If they're still running around, you may notice the windows here at Fort Henry. These are rifle loopholes. You shoot your rifles into the ditch and you get rid of the enemy. Let us now head inside the main fort. Now you are really in your home. Have a look around. Do the big 360-degree look. You may notice all the cannons on the walls of the fort. That is our primary defense against the enemy. The fort is a gigantic gun platform. We can shoot the cannons a shot a minute. With our heavy rate of fire, we'll defeat any enemy attack. At least, that's the plan. Center of the fort is hollow. This is where we have our parades. Every day you'll have a morning parade. You'll be inspected. Everything will be perfect. And if not, you will be punished. Let's make it clear, recruits. You are soldiers. I am an officer. I am in charge of you. You are paid a shilling a day, 12 cents, to obey. I am paid 18 shillings a day to command. I think you obey. Does everyone understand? Say yes, sir. Say it like you mean it. Better. And so, soldiers, this is where you'll spend your days, ready to do your duty if called upon. Lots of daily work or fatigues that will be done. You'll get used to it. One thing we should talk about now is you won't be spending your whole life here at Fort Henry. You've joined the British Army. You belong to a regiment. If all of the British Army was a school, a regiment is like a class. You travel together from place to place, never spending more than 1 or 2 years at any location. Let me show you a plot. I know most of you don't know how to read or write yet, but I will explain. Over here, we have a listing of all the glorious regiments that have served at Fort Henry over the years. Oh, so many. On average, 1 to 2 years here. That's all you'll spend. Your friends are those in the regiment with you, in your barrack room. This is your new family. Now, recruits, sooner or later, I know, you're going to do something wrong. Your uniform will not be shiny. You will forget to do your orders. You may head into town and drink a little bit too much beer, oh yes. And when you come back here, I will catch you and I will punish you. Today's magic word is punishment. How will I punish a bad soldier? I have many choices. 1, I can take away your day's pay because you were bad. 2, I can confine you to your barracks room. Go to your room and don't leave. I'm sure you've heard that before in your life. I can assign you extra work detail. But what I will probably do when you do something wrong, I'm going to send you to jail. Because we have prison cells here at Fort Henry. Not for the enemy we may capture, but for you when you do something wrong. I can send you to jail anywhere from 1 to 42 days in a row, depending on how bad you've been. So I suggest, before we go any further, you'd better have a look at the jail cells, because some of you will be spending a lot of time in it, no doubt. This way! The prison cells. First set. Get in there and have a look. Don't end up in there. It's not pleasant. You can look through the window. We'll open the door. My, oh my, doesn't that look comfortable? And that's all you get. So don't be a bad soldier. Obey orders at all times. This way. Follow the sir. Yet more prison cells for you bad, bad soldiers. Recruits, it pains me to say, the number one reason soldiers are bad, they get leave to head into town, and they decide to drink too much beer. And they get drunk, then they come back here. I am waiting, and bad things happen. So, if you drink too much beer, you're going to end up in jail. The other thing that happens when you drink too much beer, you have to go to the washroom. Oh yes. So we have special washrooms here at Fort Henry. They're called the privies. I have one set of privies for men and a second one for women. Get inside there, take a deep breath, and smell the history. In you get. This is the men's privy. That's where you go, side by side. There's no privacy for soldiers. That's where you sit down. Don't fall in. Take a peek over into it. You'll see it's a big, big ditch. Yes, marvelous, isn't it? All right, that's enough time. Some of you may say, sir, I think it's going to get awfully stinky in there. Do not worry. Be prepared to gasp in amazement for the second time today when I tell you these are flush toilets. Ooh. Ah. Oh yes. Although this was constructed in 1832, flush toilets. It's amazing. Some of you may say, but sir, how do they work? That's a good question. I'll tell you. Around the fort, on the roof or ramparts, water, melting snow is collected. You will see on the far side drain pipes. It collects the water. The drain pipes don't stop when they hit the parade square. They go underneath. So underneath the parade square are gigantic holding tanks or cisterns that fill with hundreds of gallons. Notice I am imperial, not metric, in what I say. One of the cisterns is lined up with the privies. So once you get in there and fill things up, we can lift up a gate, water rushes in, and we have a 2-foot by 2-foot tunnel dug all the way down to Lake Ontario. Gravity takes over, and we flush everything into the lake. Do not go swimming on those days. Bad things may happen. So the flush toilets, it's incredible. You're so lucky to have them. Now over here next door are the women's privies. We'd best have a look. In you get. The women can sit down without fear of falling in backwards. Very refined. Now, some of you I know have a question. But sir, it's 1867. I didn't think women could be in the army. You are correct. Women are not allowed to be soldiers, only men. It's 1867. Deal with it. However, for every 100 men in the regiment, 10 will get permission from their commanding officer to get married because they've been good soldiers. If you get permission to marry, your wife and your children are allowed to travel with you from posting to posting. So Fort Henry is not just for single soldiers, families living here. On average, at full strength, we can have around 300 soldiers, so that means around 30 families living here at the fort. For the wives and the daughters of these soldiers, this is where they can go and do their business. Are there any questions about this? And no, all of you just joined the British Army. I'm not giving you permission to marry for at least 8 to 10 years, if you're lucky. So once again, my friends, deal with it. Follow me, we have more to see. Don't look around. No talking in the ranks. Let's orient ourselves. That way is north. That's the big hill that the enemy would run up. On the northern side of the fort, you will see it's 2 stories. On the balcony level, those are all soldiers' rooms. They are barrack rooms. That's where you live, in a barrack room. That's where you live with 19 other people in one room. So if you ever had privacy in your life, you can kiss it goodbye. So the north side of the fort, the barrack rooms for the soldiers. On the east side of Fort Henry, and on the west side of Fort Henry, these are rooms for the officers. 11 rooms for officers. How many officers at the fort? 11. So what does that mean? Oh, yes. Every officer gets his own room, basically the same size as yours. You see, we need to understand the difference between an officer and a common soldier. Officers are in charge. Officers come from the upper classes of Victorian society. You are from the poor classes. You join the army because you don't have a job. You don't have food. You may not have a place to live. So you have joined the army to get your food and get your 12 cents a day and a nice uniform to wear instead of rags. I have joined the army because I'm from the rich or the upper class. We have close ties to royalty. So that's why we're in charge. We're not going to get rid of Her Majesty Victoria, Queen, Defender of the Faith, soon to be Empress of India, and etc. No, we are loyal to the crown, so we're in charge. But it's not an easy go. We have the purchase system. What does that mean? It means if you are an officer, you are a gentleman, you come from a wealthy family, and you will buy everything you need. Do you like my uniform? Well, you should. I had to buy it. Like my sword? You should. I had to buy it. I'm going to show you my personal room. Everything you see in the room, I bought with my money. So that's another reason you'll never be an officer. First of all, you're not a gentleman. And second of all, you don't have the money. So the purchase system. Do you know what else you have to buy when you're an officer? Your rank. You buy your way up. Not an easy go. But that is how it is. The purchase system is in effect, and we follow it. So why don't I be very nice to you, and I will allow you to see my room, and you will gaze in awe and wonder at the beauty that awaits you. I know you're excited. Follow me. For those of you that can read, officer, quarters, and this one is number 4. My room. Let's go have a look. In you get. There you go. The desk where I get stuck doing all the paperwork for you bunch. I have my own bed, dresser, table, etc. It's a pretty good life. Get the whole room to myself. You live in the same size room with lots of your friends. I'm going to show you your room later. I'm in charge of the daily running of the fort. I am of an age and rank that I too can get permission to marry, but my family never stays at the fort. It's not good enough for them. My family currently is residing in Britain. I hope to go on leave soon to see them, but if I were to bring them with me, I would have to pay money and rent a place in Kingston for them. So it's money, 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 money. I even have to pay for all of my own food. So why don't we head down and see where I get to eat. And I'll show you your food in your room later. Follow me. This is where I dine with my fellow officers. Some of you could be the servants serving my food for me. Good job to get. Come on in and have a look. This is the officers' mess. We pay for our meals, 4 or 5 course dinner. Breakfast, lunch, big dinner. We all sit here in our mess uniforms and we remember the regiment. And all the glory that has come before, and the glory that lies in the future. Some of you will be in the servants serving us our food. Thank you very much. We have a sergeant in charge. We give him our money. He goes in, he buys the food, and he makes sure it's cooked and served properly. So remember this when I show you where your food is. Any questions so far? No? Very well, let's carry on. Outside. Follow me. Enough about my life. Let's start talking about your life. Going to show you rooms, show you what your life is going to be like now that you've joined the British Army. Start off with, everyone wants to know about the children who might be living here at the fort. Little bandits, I call them. They're always troublemakers getting in the way. But soldiers are allowed to bring their families, so here they are. If your dad is a soldier, where do you live with your mom and dad? Let me show you. You live in the married quarters. That's what you get. Anywhere from 4 to 6 families share the room. Like I said, no privacy. At night, you can close the blankets around your little home, but during the day, the blankets are back. That's where you eat. You eat in the same room you sleep in. You're not an officer. That'll do for you. And that's your life. What are children going to do during the day? Well, up until the age of 5, they're under the care of mummy. Or maybe there's an older sister to watch after you. Once you reach the age of 5, we have something special for the children. It's in the room next door. Be prepared to gasp in amazement when I tell you, you get to go to school. Let's see. For those of you that can read, schoolroom. Oh yes, you're going to go to school, my friends. In you get. The British Army hires schoolmaster and schoolmistress. Wherever the regiment goes, they bring a schoolroom with them. For the children here at Fort Henry, you can attend school 5 days a week. The schoolmaster and the schoolmistress will teach both the boys and the girls. Boys and girls can be together in the morning. In the afternoon, the boys stay with the schoolmaster while the girls go with the schoolmistress to learn the finer things of life, to get you ready for your future career. You come from the lower classes. Do you think you're going to be a doctor? No. Do you think you might be a lawyer someday? No. You're from the lower classes. It's 1867. What's your future? You're going to be a wife and a mother, and you're going to get married, and that's all you get. So in the afternoons, you're going to learn how to cook, how to sew, and how to take care of kids, because that is your future. Remember, it's 1867. Things are different. Perhaps not as advanced as we might be in the future. So this is where you attend school. Now in the evening, soldiers can go to school, because we have decided now in 1867, it's probably a good thing if all of you soldiers learn to read and write. If you ever want to get promoted from private to corporal to sergeant, you need to know how to read and write. So when you get time off in the evening, don't be going to the bars in Kingston and getting into trouble. You come here and go to school. These are your orders. Do you understand? Say yes, sir. Thank you. That is the schoolroom. Getting hungry yet? We'd better talk about food. One of the reasons you joined the British Army is we are going to supply you with food every day. They're called rations. So let's see how we are going to feed the 300 soldiers who live here every day. Here's a clue. Bakery. Oh my! What do we have here? Every day, you're going to get exactly the same thing in your rations. You're going to get 1.5 pounds of whole wheat bread, 3/4 pound of meat, and 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of potatoes. Your breakfast is always fresh bread. And this is where we can produce the bread for you. We will hire a civilian baker. He comes in the morning and he opens up the oven doors. There are 2 of them, you may notice. Fill the oven with wood. Wood burns. The oven gets hot. Mix up 300 loaves of bread. Put it in the pan. Weigh it so everyone gets the same amount. Throw it in the oven and it'll bake in half an hour. Take it out, stick in the next batch. Each oven is set into the walls of Fort Henry. The ovens are huge. You can fit 120 of those loaves in each oven. They are designed to do nothing else but bake huge quantities of bread quickly and efficiently. So this is where you get your bread. You're all in a barrack room. One soldier is tasked with coming down, collecting the bread, taking it upstairs to your room for your brekkie. Then, your main meal of the day is not dinner, as it is for me. It is your lunch. Lunch is your big meal of the day. You've already had some bread. Don't eat all of it. You have to save some for your lunch and dinner. Now what do you get for lunch? You get meat and potatoes. Every day. I've already paid for a baker to bake your bread. Do you think I'm going to pay someone to cook your meat and potatoes? No, you can do it yourself. Every week in your barrack room, one soldier is the barrack room orderly, and his job that week is to be your cook. So you're all going to get the chance to learn how to cook meat and potatoes. So follow me. We're going to head to the soldiers' cookhouse and remember the recipe. No talking in the ranks! Discipline! This way! In here! This is the #1 cookhouse. This is where you get to do your meat and potatoes. Memorize the recipe. Are you ready? Say yes, sir. Thank you. 1. Get water from the well, from the pump in the fort. Fill the iron pot with water. 2. Take the wood. Put it in the stove underneath the pot. This is the Dominion of Canada. There's a lot of trees in Canada. We just keep cutting them down. Who cares? We'll never run out. We always use wood. Fill the stove with wood. Set it on fire. The water gets hot. It will boil. Then you will take all of the meat and potatoes for all the soldiers in your room, and you're going to throw it into this pot. And it is going to boil. And you will stir it. And an hour will go by. And it boils, and you stir it. Another hour goes by. Time for the test. Get a piece of potato. It's squishy. Good enough for you. Take all the meat and potatoes. Put it in a big pot. Take the ladle. You have to serve it. And take it up to the barrack rooms and serve lunch to all your friends. If you do a terrible job cooking the meat and potatoes, the other 19 people in the room will let you know you didn't do a good job, so you'd better get it right. Let's carry on. Now we're going to head upstairs to the balcony. What rooms are on the balcony, soldiers? I already told you. Who remembers? Can anyone tell me? The sir is waiting. What's that? Oh, I think it's the barrack room, sir. You're right. Where you live. Let's go see your room, shall we? Balcony. Don't dawdle. I'm waiting. SR #2. Soldiers' room #2. The barrack rooms. Are you ready to see where you get to live? Are you ready? Are you excited? I know I am. Let's have a look. Oh, look at the splendor that awaits you. My, oh my. Everything you could possibly want, soldiers. This is why you've joined the army. You get your very own bed. You get your own mattress. It's stuffed with straw, and we change it every 3 months whether you need it or not. You get a blanket, you get sheets. Your bed folds up in half during the day, and you flip it open at night. All your issued uniforms and gear will be beside your bed, and it will always be shiny. During the day, fold the beds up, everything is neat and tidy, and look, you get to eat in your room. You don't get a separate room to eat in like I do. You get the barrack room. And when you get a chance to relax, you do it in your barrack room. This is all you get. This is all you need. Now remember, bread for breakfast, but save some for lunch. More bread and meat and potatoes for lunch, but you can see the big iron pot on the stove. That's where you keep your dinner. It's going to be leftovers. If you eat everything at lunch, you don't get your dinner. Your problem, not mine. So remember that. So this is what awaits you, soldiers. We have a wood-burning stove. It gets cold here in the winter. You'll find out. But all in all, it's better than what you left behind. Believe it or not, this is a better life than what you had before. And this is why you have joined the British Army. Are we clear about this? By the way, every day at Fort Henry, we assign the officer of the day. Part of that officer's duties is to make sure the fort is well maintained and is running smoothly. They're kind of like the principal of a school. And one thing the officer of the day will do is he will check every barrack room to make sure the soldiers have everything accounted for and is in good shape and is clean and tidy. So you will be very busy here every day, making sure things are clean and tidy. That's what we like. Wait! Inside! Now I'm going to take you up to the roof on the north side. Remember, the big hill is to the north. It's away from the water. We think this is where the Americans will start their attack. So we need to go up and have a look around, get a lay of the land. Then if you're really good, maybe I'll let a soldier shoot off a rifle for you so you can learn about the superior firepower of the British Army of 1867. So follow me. We're heading up to the roof. Turn it up. This way. What are you waiting for? An invitation? Let's go. Up the stairs! Up to the ramparts! This way. You can see the parade square from up here. Where we line up for all our parades. Now that we're on the ramparts, this is where we face the enemy, so follow me. The enemy is attacking. These are firing steps. You load your rifle down here, step up, shoot at the bad guys, and then you get back down here to reload, so their bullets hopefully go over your head, so you don't get hit. I don't like that. You get hurt, I get stuck with paperwork. I don't like that. Switch! You're allowed to look around at the magnificent view. Hurry it up! River, flowing into Lake Ontario. Over here, we have the Naval Dockyard, the town of Kingston. Over to the west, the Rideau Canal. So we have our giant cannons that we use to defend Fort Henry. You put the gunpowder and cannonball in the front, push it to the back, run the gun forward, put in a tube. When you pull on the tube, it makes a spark. The cannon fires, will recoil back. You swab it out, you worm it out, put in new shot, new powder, a shot a minute. You should be able to do that. So the fort is a gigantic gun platform. This is the main defense, along with our soldiers with their rifles. It is now 1867. The first fort was constructed in 1812, and this, the second Fort Henry, was constructed starting in 1832. To date, do you know how many times he's been attacked? Never. So we're doing our job. We're keeping them away. We're keeping everything open. Let's hope it stays that way. But we are here to defend Her Majesty the Queen, Victoria, Defender of the Faith, soon to be Empress of India, and etc. Follow me! So here we have more of the big cannons shooting out towards the enemy on the land, or enemy ships if they get in range. We use 8 pounds of black powder and the cannonballs. Over here, we have a special cannon. It shoots down the ditches that are on both sides of the fort. So we have a big ditch that goes all the way around the fort, and 2 side ditches. In these side ditches, you can shoot the cannons right into the ditch. In fact, in the dry ditch that goes around the fort, we have underground rooms with more of these that shoot into that ditch. The whole thing would be a swirling mass of bullets. No one will survive. That's probably why we've never been attacked. They know what's waiting for them, and they're scared. So if your job is to shoot cannons, you wear a blue uniform. You're in the artillery. The color of your uniform tells me what your job is. If you wear a red uniform with white stripes on it, you are a musician. We need buglers, fifers, and drummers. Not only are they the sound system, every day you can play a bugle call. It tells you what to do. We have about 20 different bugle calls that we play every day. It's time to wake up. It's time to raise the flag. It's time to fire the noon gun. It's time to have your lunch. It's time to lower the flag. It's time to go to bed. Lights out. But in a battle, the musical instruments can also give commands over the noise of battle. So in the future, you would say, they're like a radio. And of course, every soldier likes cheery songs to listen to. It keeps them in good spirits. Now, if you're in a plain red coat, that means you're in the infantry. You are a soldier with a rifle. Have a look at that soldier down on the parade square. That is the infantry. Look at the perfect posture, standing at attention. That's what you should be doing right now. Not moving, showing the discipline of the regiment. Perfect. Perfect practice promotes perfect drill. So now I have decided, in my niceness, that I'm going to take you down and have this soldier shoot his rifle for you. And you're going to see that this is a very special rifle. It's brand new in 1867. You don't load it from the front like these cannons. This rifle, you load from the back. You can shoot it 10 times faster. It's amazing. So let's go have a look at the soldier. This way. We are now going down the steps. Do not trip. Do not fall. You will get hurt. I have to send you to the hospital that's located outside of Fort Henry, and I have to fill out paperwork. I don't want to have to do that. So be careful. You wish, you can touch the railing. You can look down where your feet are. Do not trip. Do not fall. Do not push anyone. Just be a good soldier. And do what I tell you to do. Now, as you can see, that soldier has on his arm a special stripe, a white stripe. That means he's been promoted. He is a lance corporal. He is a good soldier, good in his drill, good in carrying out orders. So let's go over and meet the lance corporal, and he'll fire off his rifle for you. This way! Thank you! Lance Corporal, we have brave new recruits here who have joined the British Army. They have joined our regiment. I've explained their life, what it will be. They're very interested in seeing you fire off the latest in weaponry here at the fort. You will all be issued one of these. First, I'll issue you a broom. And once you prove to me you know how to handle a broom safely, we'll move on to the Snyder Enfield rifle. Lance Corporal, feel free to carry on.
Very good, sir. Recruits. This is the pattern 1866 Snyder Enfield rifle, the cutting edge in military technology. It uses a breech block right here, meaning it can load rounds from the back, close the breech, expose the firing pin, and fire off a round. All I have to do to unload, snap back, withdraw the round, load another one. Very quick, very devastating. So, to load, withdraw, breech block, take out my round, load it inside the breech, close the breech block. It's gonna be a little loud, so plug your ears. Pull back the hammer, raise the rifle, aim down the sights. And just like that, the round's unloaded. And then withdraw another one, load it right back up, and ready to fire again. Now I'm going to fire off 2 rounds very quickly, so plug your ears. That's it, recruits.
Magnificent! I hope you all can become a good soldier as this Lance Corporal. Our time here now draws to a close, I'm sad to say. You need to get going. You need to get outfitted in a proper uniform because your civilian clothing is disgusting to me. You will only wear what the Army issues you, and it's not what you're wearing now. You will learn how to polish your uniform. I'll get you squared away in a barracks room, and you'll be issued your lunch shortly, which is another reason you joined. One final thing you do get every day, in addition to your pay, in addition to your bread, and in addition to your meat and potatoes, tonight, if you're good, every soldier is given a beer ration. Just one. It keeps you healthy. So you can look forward to that tonight. Recruits, any question before you head out to your new life? Very well. I'll see you later on this afternoon once you've been kitted out, and I'll inspect your barrack rooms. So now, when you're leaving, you will salute the officer. Me. You'll take your right arm, snap it up, over the eyebrow, elbow forward, hand flat, like a pancake. And you say with all the love in your heart, "Sir!" And then I say, "Thank you!" Cut your salute. Carry on to your duties. I have also been informed by my adjutant that tomorrow there is something being broadcast called a podcast that you can look up on something called the internet at Fort Henry or the St. Lawrence Parks Commission. This technology, I don't understand, but I'm told that it will work. So I believe the expression is tune in tomorrow. Thank you. Carry on. God save the Queen.